Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for a little bit of an overview of the most recent patch update to The Sims 4. This patch came out on March 23rd, only a couple of hours ago at the time of filming, and there were a few things that I wanted to make sure that we were able to look at and discuss. Of course, we all know that bunk beds were introduced to the game, but we also got lofted beds. However, there were some very important updates, including hair texture improvements. There was new artwork swatches for base game that were included, as well as some added functionality to a few things. And that also includes some trait enhancements. Now, the trait enhancements aren't something that we are going to cover in this video just because they really do come out a lot more with gameplay. And I think that they would take some time to experience, as well as I would call them some quality of life improvements. Apparently with this latest patch, Sims will actually bathe and eat faster, so they're not always going to be late for work or school because they didn't have 3 hours to do everything that they needed to do. So that is very exciting. So one of the first things that I wanted to highlight were the improved hair textures. Now there were two hairs that were improved and touched on for this patch. One of them is the puffball hair, and this is it right here. So this is it on a young adult. Now it can also be on a toddler. Little smiley nugget, I love it. And it could also be for a child, as well as a teenager and an elder. So basically all life stages can actually have this hairstyle, which I think is really, really nice. I just highlighted the main three that were, I think, vastly different because teens look kind of a lot like young adults, and young adults, adults, and elders, you know, it's all going to be kind of the same thing. But this was also the second hair that was updated. It is the short afro, I believe is what it is called. Again, there were really just texture improvements for this hair. You can tell that just the poofs in general right here are a lot more textured. You can see all of the curls and the cues, and I just love it. There's little baby hairs at the base of the neck now. I'm going to try to zoom in here a little tiny bit. They actually might be a lot more obvious in Create a Sim as well, so I want to be mindful of that. But yeah, it's been drastically improved. I'm going to try to insert a picture of what it looked like prior to this update if I'm able to find one. I'm sure that they are floating around, so hopefully you guys can kind of see a little bit of the before and after thanks to this update. The very first piece of artwork that actually got an update was this Teen Idol poster. So there are an additional, I think, 4 swatches. Now I have to be honest, I don't use a lot of these items too much unless I'm doing base game only homes. So I'm not quite sure about some of the swatches and the differences, but I know that at least like 3 or 4 of these are new for that particular poster, which I think is great. There is additional like skin tone enhancements here to some of these swatches, as well as different hair colors, which is beautiful. I know that the Henry Puffer poster was also one that got a little bit of an upgrade. I think there were only 1 or 2 swatches prior, but we have a few more here as well. And I think this is our last one there. Next up is the Just Justin fan poster, which I've never even read some of these names before, nor have I read the descriptions, so I'm going to have to kind of dive into those a little bit at some point. But I do really like that we just have a ton of more options to choose from now. I was kind of at a loss for words there, but we have a ton of options to choose from. This one, I really loved the Kick It Sally soccer poster, so we actually have a few different hairstyles and skin tones here as well, which is just beautiful to see. I am just so excited to have things like this for especially my child Sims is what I'm thinking, because these are all like kid posters, right? And I think this one here, the dramatic cooking poster, I apologize if the lighting's a little off here, but we do have different hairstyles again, as well as different skin tones. And I think we actually have a few more like gender neutral options just in the sim that's actually being represented, which I think is beautiful. There's actually tons of this one. Wow, they went all out with this. I love it. I think they did a color variation of almost every single one. Next up, we have the illustrated sports poster. I think there were maybe, I think there's a swatch or 2 for this one. But again, we're going along the same lines of the addition of colors as well as skin tones and different like hairstyles and just more inclusivity. We love to see it here, you guys. We really, really do. And now we have a ton more. We're not even close to showing all of these pieces of artwork. The next up is the Rock My Universe pinup girl. These are a little bit bigger. I might have to create another wall here soon. But I always loved this piece of artwork, and I hated that there was only one swatch. Like, it drove me nuts. I don't know why. I just always wanted more diversity in here. So here are all of them. Am I just going to be able to fit them? Yes, I am. Jeez. We're gonna need another wall here. I'm just gonna go ahead and, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? Should I just do this? We're just gonna do that. We're gonna do that for now. We're gonna see how this goes. All right, let's filter back down to base game. So we left off at the pinup girl. Okay, so then there are a few more that I'm aware of. If there are any more that I missed, please let me know in the comments down below, because I would like to know because I only saw the ones in the patch notes, but I'm basically relying on those to show me what's new and what's not, because I have no idea. But here is another one. I am quite excited for this one. So this is a painting I would use very often in base game homes because I loved it. I thought it was really cute and kind of rustic and historic. And usually we just had frame differences. So there are still the 3 frame, I want to say colors, if you could call it that, right? Here, we'll try to lay it out like they have it in the patch notes, but it might be a little bit difficult. I think it was just these 3 variations, I want to say. Here, we'll kind of do with that. So now, here, I'll line them all up. We have this fine gentleman right here, kind of looks like Mortimer Goth. This guy in a nice top hat. Let's see what else we get. Oh, we've got some female representation as well, and I love that, oh, these are so diverse. I'm so thrilled right now. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We also have this lovely lady right here. And that's the original one. Okay, we might be looping back a little bit here. Oh, wait, this is great. Okay, so it looks like we can get each person here in the different frames. Oh, and there's an additional one. Geez, these aren't necessarily in order, the swatches, so I'm trying to kind of categorize them as I go. But I absolutely love this. It looks like we can get almost every portrait, maybe every single portrait in each variation, which is so freaking nice. Here, this one goes up here. We're still pretty even. That one goes there. Yes, we love this. Put this over here. Oh, this is so neat. Oh, I'm so thrilled. And then there's just one more, right? Yes, there's just the one more. Oh, beautiful. So we have so many more portraits. Again, they are so diverse, a little bit more inclusive, I would say. And this just opened up so many possibilities, at least in my opinion, for using a lot of the base game art as well. There was also an update to this one. It's the art in a box. They were just very medieval and kind of Victorian looking. But look, we have some more cultural representation, which is just so stunning. So this one here, it looks like there's only the 2 frames. Oh no, there's 3 different frames. Okay, so there's 3 different frame colors. They might be a little bit difficult to fit on here. I might be able to do it. Here, let's see if I can do this correctly. Let's get that one here, put this one up here. They're gonna overlap a little bit, so just bear with me. And then there's also, oh, then there's this one. So let me see. Oh, and I might have to give my Sims some money. Would you just look at that? they're kind of aching for some money here. So there we go. I'm gonna give them just infinite money real quick, so just don't mind me. We're just gonna give them, like, I don't know, like a million simoleons or something. And we got an achievement in the midst of all of it. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, and now I think what we'll do is we'll actually just toss up another wall right here. This is gonna be a little odd. I didn't actually realize there were so many freaking swatches, so I apologize ahead of time. But there was another update to, I believe it was this portrait here, the portrait of marriage. Yes, it was just very medieval, very Victorian, very fancy. And we got, oh, the inclusivity. Look at that sweet couple there. Oh, I just love it so much. And again, I believe that this is going to be coming in all of the different frame colors. So you can choose any frame color that you want. And I can't tell if those are actually different or the same right now, but there are just the different frame colors. And I just love the diversity in all of these portraits now. I think that they are absolutely beautiful. It enhances base game so much. So this is all of the new artwork that we got. I didn't even count how many swatches that there were, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of artwork that were updated, which is just fantastic. We are officially set up to look at the base game beds as well as the lofted beds and the bunk bed. So we are going to be testing out some functionality here. That is why I have my lovely family here to check everything out. But I did want to note one thing. I thought it was very interesting to see this, and I haven't really shaped my opinion on it fully quite yet. So you guys will have likely noticed at this point that this bed here it might look familiar to those of you who have the Parenthood game pack. This bed originally came with the Parenthood game pack. I did go back into a few different blog posts and release information about this pack when it came out because, to be totally fair, I was not very immersed in the Sims community when that pack came out, and by the time that I was kind of catching up with like all the packs that have been released from between when it came out and when I started really playing it heavily, I just purchased it and I didn't give any second thought to it, to be frank. So I did notice that this was from Parenthood. And now if you're looking at this update, right? So we got the Lofted Beds and the Bunk Beds. We got two variations. My thought, and this is just what I'm thinking that they were thinking in adding these, is that they wanted a wood frame bed as well as metal frame bed, because let me just be honest, the metal frame, even though I didn't have bunk beds of my own, I had a few friends that had bunk beds and they always had the metal frame. Like, that is nostalgia. Like, that is that is straight up what I saw anywhere I happened upon bunk beds, right? But I think it's very interesting that they made the choice to now actually remove the Parenthood tag from this bed. This bed is now available as a single version lofted and bunk bed with base game. I typically have a little bit of an issue with things being repackaged that way. So if we are thinking of things like that, right? Let's just bring up this hot tub. We usually don't talk about it here. We don't like it, okay? We don't. But with base game, we did not have hot tubs. So what we had was we had the perfect patio stuff pack where you got a hot tub. Like, that was new gameplay, new functionality. And then, like, I don't even know how much later, maybe a year or two, I don't even remember when the perfect patio stuff pack came out, we got this base game hot tub, which added hot tubs to base game. And people were feeling a little bit odd about the fact that they paid $10 for a stuff pack, including this hot tub, and then we just got a hot tub for free like a year or two later. I'll make sure that I look up the date and put it on screen for you guys too, because I don't want to just be talking and not have the facts behind me. But yeah, it was a little bit odd, so I kind of feel that way about this bed. I'm a little bit uneasy with it. I do understand that they may have wanted to just have a versatile bunk bed option. I really do. I totally understand it. And honestly, the swatches of this bed are so freaking cute. And I'm actually really excited that those that have only base game are now going to be able to experience it. So there's always like a pro and con with it. You know what I mean? It's a pro because those that don't have any other packs, especially the Parenthood game pack, can actually have this bed. And it's, in my opinion, so much cuter than all the other ones that we have in base game. That's just my opinion, though. Others may love some of these beds that came with base game, but I love that one. So I'm a little bit uneasy about that kind of recycling of an asset, but I also do understand it. So I won't harp on it too long, but I think my thought with that, to kind of wrap this up, at least with noticing that little thing there with the Parenthood bed, is that I would have loved to have seen this bed here that we got, because what you can do, let's just put this out here, you can go ahead and change up the swatches, and it also changes the wood frame, which I think is great. So like, for example, I love this bed from base game. I think it's really, really pretty. I think it's adorable. And I also really like this guitar one. And as you can see, that only changed the top bunk, and the bottom one stayed the same. You can go ahead and change that one up too. So let's say that you wanted the guitar one on top and then you wanted this green one on the bottom. You could do that. However, the wood tones are going to be a little bit awkward with that. What is it? The baseboard? Not baseboard, the headboard and the footboard, the baseboard, whatever it's called. It's going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be matching the overall wood swatch of the lofted bed, which is determined by the top bunk. So I hope that that makes sense. I want to try to make as much sense as humanly possible with this. Can I put this back? Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. And this is actually also the same for the metal one. So if you wanted to go ahead and use that white one, which I think is gorgeous, and then you want to change this up where it's black on top there, and you want to do that, that's like that's such a cute little theme. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. So you have the functionality there, but what I would have liked to have seen is, instead of using this Parenthood bed and taking it from a paid DLC, I would have loved to have seen this bed right here turned into a bunk bed, because I thought that would have been a go-to, to be honest. Like, they showed the little sneak peek and I was thinking, yeah, that one, but also maybe this child one, because I think it would be cute, or even this one. I know it only has the 3 swatches. Oh, now that I say that out loud, it looks like they combined these with these in the bunk bed. Okay, so that's actually really neat. So they combined 2 there, and I guess I'm just kind of curious as to why they didn't maybe take this one. Even if it was just the comforter, like if they had taken the comforters from this bed, this one, and made them available for these lofted base game beds and bunk beds, I would have been thrilled. I think that would have been so, so cool. So that's kind of my opinion on that. We're going to get rid of all of these base game beds here. Just wanted to kind of show off how many that we had at this point. And now we're going to try to do some things with these lofted beds and bunk beds. We are now in live mode, and what we're going to do is we are going to have our kiddos go ahead and test out the bunk beds. Now, you may have noticed that there is actually a new option for the bunk beds. I have not tested this for a single bed, so we will do that momentarily, but your child Sims can now read under the covers. We are going to have one of our child Sims actually do that on the top bunk while the other is going to go ahead and go to sleep. I'm very excited to see the ladder animation. Yep, go right ahead. Looks like our toddler's getting a communication skill. Oh, look. Oh, how cute. I love it. And then like the little shuffle over to the top of the bed. It's so real. And now he's reading. Oh, he's reading under the covers. Look at how cute that is. And he's gaining a little bit of fun. I'm assuming that that would be a very good way to kind of get fun or get the fun up. Especially I'm thinking like when lights out and your kids go to bed or whatever it is, and one of them is just like sneakily reading under the covers with a flashlight. Oh my gosh, that is so, so, so cute. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just wake them up, get them out of bed. And here he is climbing down the ladder. Now, I do know that what can happen when they climb down the ladder is they can actually fall. Now, they're not going to get hurt, or they're not going to die. It's not a new sim death here, you guys. But they can actually fall when they're going down that ladder. And what's great too about these bunk beds is if there is a wall here, the ladder that you don't need will disappear. I believe it is actually an option in the settings in the UI. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can actually check that out. I don't actually know where it is. I was checking in gameplay. I'm not sure if this is a different kind of like UI setting, but just know that that is possible. You can turn that on or off, but I do like it that it's automatically on right now, where this ladder will basically disappear if there's a wall over there. Now we're going to take a look at the lofted beds. Now here is where things get a little bit dicey, at least for me, because when I envision a lofted bed, I envision the ability to put like a desk or toys or something underneath it, because that's the whole point, right? It's supposed to be a space saver. So when I first went into Build and Buy, and I had the lofted bed out here, now just to be very transparent here, we're going to do move objects off. I want to show what's possible without that cheat on. And I filtered down to base game because if we are thinking about this being a base game update, there should be particular pieces of functionality that are specific to base game without any other packs, right? So I'm thinking of some of the smaller desks, such as the one from Parenthood or Tiny Living, we are going to test after we test a base game desk. So that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test this Knowledge Console by Kindermate. It is the smaller desk. And as you can see, when the move objects cheat is off, you can't place a desk underneath this lofted bed. So that was a little bit concerning to me right off the bat, but what we're going to do is we're going to put move objects on. And when we do that, we are able to go ahead and put this desk underneath the bed. And now it doesn't clip to anything, for example, so you don't see it actually clipping to a slot, which was immediately something I noticed where it wasn't meant to be there, right? That's kind of the thought. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and place the desk here right up against these bars, just right there. Let's grab a chair real quick and let's go ahead and put a computer down, right? So let's get a computer down and we're gonna test it out with our little guy, Brandon here. And we're gonna go ahead, have him sit. For some reason, I have been experiencing this recently where I have to make them sit first and then they can use the computer, which is probably just another kind of glitch. Let's see if he can play his computer game here. And he can play his computer game perfectly. He's also simultaneously chatting with his sister on the bed over there. We're just fine. So he can play on the computer, but we're gonna have him go over here. And now we're gonna go ahead and see if he can sleep. And as you can see, he can't get up to the lofted bed. Now, the ladder technically, visually, is not blocked. So I thought that that was a little bit unusual. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and flip this desk to face this way. And we're gonna see, maybe, just maybe, this doesn't block it. We're gonna test this out. The first thing that we're gonna do is actually have his sister go ahead and sit over here on the chair, which it looks like she's having no problem doing that. We'll have her play a video game. And now we're gonna have him try to sleep. And again, he can't get to that lofted bed. The computer in the desk has full functionality, nothing is an issue whatsoever, but he can't get to the top bunk. Now we're going to go in and expand our catalog a little bit. So if you guys are unaware, we do have some slimmer and smaller desks that are available. This one from City Living, which it looks like it would actually merge into the bed. So we're not going to try that one. It likely would not work. But we are going to try this Brohill Kids desk. It is a lot smaller. And we're going to go ahead and put a computer up here as well. Grab another chair. Just as a reminder, this one does come with the Parenthood pack. So we're going to have our girl over here sit down, and we're going to have her play a video game, and then her brother is going to try to go on the top bunk, which, as you can see, works perfectly now. So you can have one of these smaller desks underneath the lofted bed and have it work just fine. He's now able to climb up the ladder and go in the bed as he is intended to. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try one more different desk. So I'm going to have them come on down. I'm also trying to see if he'll fall from the ladder when he's coming down, because I'm kind of hoping that the odds are in my favor and that it'll happen at one point. But so there is one more smaller desk that I want to try. It is this one from the Tiny Living Stuff Pack. So this is from the Tiny Living Stuff Pack, and as you can see, it is quite small. We'll go ahead and add that same computer, and we'll add the same chair and see if this is going to cause any issues for us. Looks like she's going to the desk, no problem, and all we have to do is click sleep to see if he'll go, and he will. He is already going to climb up the ladder and actually sleep in the bed. So what I'm kind of seeing here is that you do have to have a smaller object as far away from this ladder as possible to be able to make this work and actually save some space with this being a lofted bed. Next, we're going to try to put maybe like an armchair and a bookcase, some other item that your Sims are supposed to be able to use, and we're going to try to put them underneath the beds. So first is this armchair. We'll go ahead, put the armchair down, and we're going to see if our Sim can actually go ahead and sit. And it looks like she can without issue. So then my question is, can we put anything else, if it's not a desk, like something? Can we put, for example, this bookcase down here? So we'll put the bookcase down here. And we'll see if our Sim can now climb up the ladder. And he can't. He cannot climb up the ladder. That's what I wanted to test first. We'll delete the bookcase with just the chair with her sitting. And now with the bookcase gone, I really hope that these guys don't die from overheating. It looks like he will have no problem actually getting up on that top bunk. So it really seems to be that this space near the ladders is off limits for any objects. They won't work. There is some functionality in the object that is placed under the bed because it's not being blocked, but the actual bed is being blocked. And I hope that that makes sense. I've been trying to test out a bunch of different objects to see what's going to work and what is not going to work. Now, with these lofted beds, what you can also do is you can go ahead and let's duplicate this bed over here. It will go ahead and fit right here under the lofted bed. Now, it shouldn't cause any issues in regards to your Sims getting up and down. It looks like he is able to actually get down off the bed, no problem, which means that he's likely to get back up. And both Sims can use these beds. So it's perfectly slotted for having two beds, whether it's the bunk beds or the lofted beds. I'm just going to say the word bed a ton. But now what we're also going to try is we're going to try to go ahead and flip this, because I have seen many bunk beds that are kind of like this. They're kind of like L-shaped. Maybe we'll put it a little bit closer to the ladder and see if it is an issue. Then we'll put it on the opposite side and in the middle. Looks like she will be able to get into that bed no problem, and he can no longer climb to the top bunk. Wow. It's kind of disappointing. I understand that it just, oh gosh, oh no, my Sims are burning to death. Oh my gosh. Okay, can we not do that? Please, not in the middle of an overview? I had to change them into their hot weather outfits, and let me tell you, I didn't plan those outfits, so please ignore how they look right now. But what we're going to try now, that I've prevented them from burning to death, is we're going to put the bed over here to go ahead and see if they are going to be able to either relax on the bed. We're just going to go ahead and sit on it. Let's see if he can just go ahead and relax on that top bunk. Looks like that is not a problem, so you can actually do a bed setup like this as long as this bed is away from that ladder. And now I'm wondering if it's going to have any impact if we put an end table or something over here. I feel like it could cause an issue. He already just reset. It looks like he is no longer able to get on the top bunk. So even in the middle, even though it's not up against those ladders, you are not able to place anything there, at least for me, and have the top bunk be accessible. Now that is really, it's disappointing to me, but I will try to be very definitive in what I'm saying here and very articulate. So I understand that these lofted beds, since there is no slot for things to clip to except for another single bed or even a toddler bed, actually, let's do that before we get too far. We're going to delete that bed and we're actually going to grab a toddler bed because these will slot and clip underneath a lofted bed. So what you can actually do is you could go ahead and have your toddler go ahead and sit on the bed, and then this sim should be able to go up to the top bunk and just relax. So he's off going to the top bunk, and it looks like our toddler is making her way over, oh my gosh, with the cutest hat on the face of the planet, making her way over to relax over here in her little toddler bed. And this is really nice. So now your Sims can actually relax up on their beds, by the way, laying down. If we had a TV here, your Sims would be able to watch TV while relaxing and sprawled out on these beds, which I love. I love that so much. I don't even think it was in the patch notes. So thrilled with that. I'm very, very, very happy. Everyone's getting off the beds here because we are going to try just a few more different objects to test underneath these lofted beds. Because my idea with a lofted bed was to be able to get, well, one, a large desk underneath the bed. I was really, really hoping that that was going to be a thing. Please don't put her down on the bed. Okay, you didn't. Thank goodness. All right, so we were able to get a toddler bed under there. We are able to lay out beds in this particular... Oh, that one actually snaps. You can't lay the toddler bed that way unless you kind of like unclip it a little bit. There you go. So you would be able to technically put a toddler bed like this if you wanted to. It would leave room over here, but you can't really fill it with much. And you could go ahead and put a double bed here, which will clip, or you can go ahead and turn it L-shaped. But again, this space here is going to be wide open, and if you put anything there, it's going to block your Sim's ability to get to the top bunk. So overall, I am thrilled with bunk beds. The bunk bed for me gets an A+. I love it. I love that, one, it's working just fine. My Sims aren't having any glitches. Everything's cool. There's the addition of being able to read underneath the covers, which I think is so cute. It's exclusive to kids, which I think is adorable. And even though we haven't seen it yet, your child Sim can kind of fumble as they go down the ladder and they might get a negative moodlet. That's what I'm assuming. And just so you know, adults can also use these bunk beds. We're just going to go ahead and test it right now. We're going to have Mom go up to the top bunk. And she is going up there just fine. No issues at all. We're going to go ahead and bring it down, though, just because, you know, we want her back down. Please come back down. Thank you. So she's actually going to go ahead and get back down. I love this new animation, by the way, where they have to... Oh, gosh, she's farting. Everything's terrible. Where you have to actually kind of, like, back up and then climb down the ladder that way. But, yeah, that's my overall view here of what this update included. We do have the updated textures for the hairs that I wanted to exhibit here. We've got the lofted beds and the bunk beds. I'm not a huge fan of the Parenthood bed swatch and just asset all in all being recycled and put into base game. I'm kind of torn on it. I love that people can use it. Kind of upset that it was a paid item, a paid for item that's now in base game, I guess. I don't know. That is a different debate for a different day, but I am really hoping that this lofted bed functionality will have enhancements over time. The bunk beds are perfect. Lofted beds, in my head, are meant as space savers, and I would love to be able to put, for example, this desk here from, where is it? Discover University. So my thought was like, oh my gosh, I want to make a dorm. I can't wait. Let's put this Discover University desk under there. The chair that came with it. Let's just go all samesies here, and we'll go ahead and put the laptop underneath there, and we'll go ahead and test it. I think we know what's going to happen, but I think the Sim will be able to sit down, play a video game on the computer and use the desk, but he can't get to the top bunk. So that is my hope for the future of bunk beds. I hope that one thing that we get is that lofted beds are going to be able to have a lot more functionality with things underneath them, and that bunk beds honestly stay the same because they are incredible and I'm very pleased with them. Like I mentioned, we're not going to be going over any of the increased trait improvements right now, but I will definitely ensure that I link the patch notes in the description down below, as well as a thread on the Sims discussion forums about those traits and the enhancements to them. But that is all I have got for you guys today. I hope you did enjoy this video, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!